Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an advanced Dungeons and Dragons monster video on the Boalisk. I thought I'd already done this, but I can't find it in my channel anywhere, so I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Before I get into this, if you enjoy my content, it would really help me out if you would hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share my content on social media, and post a comment or two. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. If you enjoy a good book, check out my author page on Amazon. My pen name is H.L. Anderson. You can find all of my books there. I like to think I write good stories that make you think. I wrote a 3-book series, science fiction western series called Drifters. I wrote a fun story about a house in New Orleans where the monsters all hang out. It's called The House Off Farrago Road. I wrote a political fantasy called The Righteous President. And I've got 2 of them so far. I'm working on the 3rd one. The first one is Vanguard 1. The second one is Task Force Terminus. They're science fiction, futuristic space warfare, but it's a study of humanity from an alien perspective. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you get them. I hope you enjoy them. All right, on with the Boalisk. As a dungeon master, you always want to surprise your players if you can. I always like to find exotic and strange creatures to run against my players. One of the best ways to really throw them a curveball is to present them with a creature which they think is a specific type of creature, but in reality has some abilities that are much more deadly, more of a surprise. Enter the Boalisk. The Boalisk can be found on page 19 of the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual 2. Be sure to read through the description very, very thoroughly before using them in your game. They can be a little complex, and they can also be extremely deadly for your players. One of the more dangerous aspects of the Boalisk is almost completely skimmed over right in the very, very first sentence. It appears as a normal snake. That's where most players get sucked in. Most players will think it's a snake. That's no problem. I can kill a snake, right? That's where the trouble starts. There's a 1 in 3 chance that they will meet the snake's gaze and be petrified with no savings throw. Others, after the initial gaze attack, who fail their saves versus petrification, are afflicted with a rotting disease as per a mummy. Yeah, it's got multiple whammy there. Again, this creature's primary attack is the gaze, and it can do this in addition to its normal attacks, which is bite and constrict. The fact that it appears as a normal snake will allow surprise attacks quite easily. One important part of this creature's stats is that the number appearing is 1 to 3. In a worst case scenario, 3 player characters can be petrified right at the beginning of the encounter, and that can be devastating for any group. Most groups average 4 to 6 players. If 2 or 3 of them are gone right at the beginning, yeah, that party's in some serious kimchi, let me tell you. Years ago, I was running a game with 5 players. They ran into 3 of these Boalisks, and the battle started off with the player characters mistaking them for normal snakes. The group was camped for the night, and the thief was on guard duty. He saw the snakes, and he rolled a 1 on his D6. His player character didn't realize what they were and was instantly petrified when they met his gaze. The group had a chance to wake up, and 3 of them did so. The mage and the cleric both rolled 1s and 2s, and they were petrified. The third one, a fighter, roused his fellow player character, the barbarian. They each contracted the rotting sickness before killing the snakes. Yeah. The 2 survivors could not reach town before the sickness killed them. It was a total party kill, and there was little any of them could do about it. These Boalisks don't seem extremely dangerous if you look at their stat sheet, but when you read the description, petrification automatic with no savings throw if they catch you by surprise, that right there by itself is bad. But even if you do kill them, you can still contract, the player characters can still contract the rotting disease, which is just nasty. Be very, very careful how you run a Boalisk against your group. If they have no cure for petrification or no way to treat the rotting disease, their level and number of hit points may very well be irrelevant. That's the one of the nastier parts of this Boalisk. It doesn't really matter about the level. Boalisks are easy to kill. It's that surprise attack that gets you. It's just nasty. Again, be careful if you run these in your game. They can really tear a group apart. I hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. There is a house in New Orleans where the monsters all hang out. When the police detective, who happens to be a skinwalker squirrel, uncovers a plot by a paranormal perpetrator, he has to enlist the aid of his fellow housemates. If you enjoy a modern, quirky take on historical mythology, check out my new original novel, The House Off Farago Road.